Greetings, everybody, and Happy New Year. It is, in fact, January 1st, 2022. Prior to the New Year ending, I had posted a video pertaining to a situation my wife and I were dealing with as it pertains to the loss of our tenant due to his unexpected passing. So this is my follow-up video based on recent events. Once again, I'm going to leave names out of it. I'm going to give you some facts. I'm just gonna, and then I'm gonna give you what we're doing. This is not meant to be a lesson. This is not meant to be some sort of moral truth or ethical statement. It's just me putting something out there. If you get anything from this and it's positive, then good. But it's not meant to serve as anything. It's just, think of it as kind of like a journal entry, if you will. So, the oldest son is engaged to a young woman, and that young woman has an aunt. That aunt is in the real estate business. She's a realtor. After discussions back and forth between all of us involved, we agreed that as long as the loan can get paid off, and that we won't owe anything, we won't be in debt, basically we can wash our hands of it. Together they will purchase the home, make whatever repairs are necessary, and then attempt to sell it for a profit, and then split the profit. Situation being what it is, the gentleman who rented the house had made some decisions, and ultimately whatever finances are available, whether it's life insurance or whatnot, none of his children are the beneficiaries, so they can't even afford to pay for his funeral. So I believe I mentioned that in the video. So to give you just an ounce of backstory for context, and yes, the window's open and the wind is blowing, so I apologize. Hopefully the light won't flood us out. In the summer of 2007, our son Logan had just survived a situation. I won't go into the details because I don't know that it's that terribly important, but he had just survived a significant medical emergency related to his condition, the bulk of which was stemming from an infection and whatnot. And ultimately, what ended up happening was that the diagnosis is that he needed a small intestine transplant. In 2007, there were only so many institutions that were doing it, whether it was because of liability insurance, trained surgeons, whatever the case may be. Of the institutions that were brought to our attention, Cincinnati was one of them. So in the Marine Corps, each occupational field has somebody that we call a monitor who keeps track of personnel by rank and by unit, so that when somebody's up for orders, they can call the monitor and ask them if, what positions are available and attempt to negotiate where they're going. I called my monitor, and after some talking with other people, I won't get into it, came to the conclusion that maybe I could get to Pittsburgh, or maybe I can get to Cincinnati or Columbus. So I called him and I explained the situation. He's like, well, this works out perfectly. I've got a position that's currently gapped. Nobody's filling the position in Columbus, Ohio. I could put you in that position, and hopefully it provides you and your family the opportunity to take care of your son. And that's exactly what we did. Is I executed orders to I&I duty, inspector instructor duty, which is, if you're not familiar, you're the active duty person who runs the day-to-day operations at a reserve center. You plan the reservist activities, and you monitor the activities, you supervise the activities, the whole nine. And my son's surgical care was transferred to Cincinnati. So that's the foundation. At the end of it, we as a family had a horrific relationship with Cincinnati Children's. I don't want to say anything about their services. I don't want to say anything about their care because I don't know if anybody else has had a similar situation. We had a really bad relationship with Cincinnati Children's. So when the time came, I was unable to stay in Columbus for the remainder of my career. I had like 2 years and 11 months left until I could retire. So I eventually made peace with my wife, and I were going to have to go our separate ways. And in order to break free from Cincinnati, we had to make some sort of an agreement. I won't go into the details, but basically, my wife moved back in with her parents. And I've already mentioned this before. Well, and I already talked to you about how bad the market was. So all of this is to say this. I didn't exactly have the best professional time in Columbus, Ohio. I worked with some really solid dudes. I met some really, really solid people. And I don't have anything against reservists in general. Some of the people I worked with, I would not say they set an example worthy of my emulation. It just is what it is. Whether they're good people, bad people, that's not the argument. The point being is, from my perspective, we just didn't really get along, and I didn't really approve of all of their actions, if that makes sense. And then, of course, everything with Cincinnati, we could not wait to leave. It has nothing to do with the city of Columbus. It has nothing to do with the state of Ohio. The state of Ohio and the city of Columbus I found to be very patriotic and very welcoming to members who have served, veterans, you name it. Well, the market was bad, so we couldn't sell the house. I already told you that story, so we ended up renting it. And I already told you the story about how we wanted to have the gentleman take over the mortgage. So at the end of the day, we just want to put this in the rearview mirror. Is it possible we could make a profit? Yes, it is. Even in the current condition of the house, it's a seller's market, so we could sell it as is, make a few $1,000s, who knows, pay off the loan, pay off the closing costs, pay off the 14-day payoff, and still make a little bit of money. That's not what we wanted. I can't really explain the emotions other than to say we just want to put that whole thing in the rearview mirror. If we could have sold the house in 2012, we would have. So we're letting them purchase the house as is for just enough money to cover everything. So, like I said in the previous video, if you're not familiar, there's typically a 14-day payoff, which is not the remaining balance you can see when you log in. And then there's typically closing costs involved, which don't even include real estate fees. Since the aunt is going to make the purchase, she's waiving the real estate fees, and all we have to do is worry about 14-day payoff and closing costs. So we are not going to profit off of the house. More importantly, as people go, my wife and I are not religious. We don't go to church, we don't pray, we don't believe in a particular brand of religion or a book or a pathway. We do believe in certain things, potentially in intelligent creation, and we also believe in energy, putting good out and hoping for good back. We also do not want to profit off of this man's death. We don't want to turn this into something that could be misperceived as negative energy. You read into that what you will. At the end of the day, if there's an opportunity for us to help out his children, okay, help them recover from the loss of their father and any other additional inconveniences that may stem from that, if that's putting good energy out there, and if that in turn brings good energy back to us, some people call it karma, then that's all we're looking to do. Whether you find a deeper meaning into that, that's on you. My wife and I don't necessarily believe that you need to go to a place, worship a deity, pray to a deity, read from a book written by men, in order to know right from wrong, in order to know good from evil. You read into that what you want. The aunt has basically been acting as a neutral third party, and all we told her was, if the time ever comes, just tell them to pay it forward. Because at the end of the day, we will get our VA points back. Not that we'll ever use them, but we'll get them back. The loan will be paid off. Our credit will look good. And we will no longer have to worry about that. And I'll tell you, just from a person-to-person perspective, every year I've gone to file taxes, I've had to file taxes as that being a business property. Every year, the forms and the questions and the boxes that you have to check change. Every year. I don't know why. It's never the same. It's never the same questions. It's never the same boxes you got to check. It gets more and more difficult every year to file taxes on that property as a business each and every year. And I'm done with it. I'm over it. It may sound silly, for some of you that are way more, motarded about entrepreneurism, you do you. My wife and I cannot wait to be done with it. And rather than profiting off of the loss of another human being, we're going to let it go as is for what's left on it. And if that helps out his children, then so be it. He helped us out without even knowing it at a time when we really needed it. And I wish I could explain it, but he may have had his demons. They're none of my business. They're frankly none of yours. He was always good to us, and that's how I judge him. So that's the update. I don't want to hold my breath and say it's done, but at least the intent is there, and sometimes the intent can mean an awful lot. I understand things happen. The world is a crazy place. I'm well aware of that. But at least right now, we put out good intentions. It looks like we're getting good intentions back. And, sometimes maybe the world is that simple. Maybe things can be that simple, at least at our level. Once you get above us in DC, I just leave that alone. But maybe we can start to simplify things a little bit. Maybe we can start being good people, regardless of what you believe in. Just regardless, we can be good people. And that's all I got. It's about 12 minutes. You want to comment? By all means, comment. If you want to ask questions, by all means, ask questions. As far as YouTube's concerned, hit like, hit dislike, hit the subscription notification, whatever you got to do. Other than that, as always, I got to take care of my boy. If you're at all interested in bees, how to take care of bees, how to maintain bees, how to keep bees, and all of that stuff involved, check out Warden Farm Beekeeping, North Carolina. I'll put the link in the description. All right, guys, that's all I got. You take care.